Hello ladies and gents, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Today I am joined by Rachel Ray as we discuss our 6th ranked Morning Musume member.
Do you have your garbage bowls handy?
How about you take it away, Rachel Ray?
My 6th ranked Morning Musume member is none other than the lovely and awkward and just so happy to be here, Junjun!
Junjun!
Junjun joined Morning Musume along with fellow Chinese member Lin Lin, and when they joined the group, I think they experienced a fair share of xenophobia.
One could suggest that.
One could suggest that they weren't as well received as they could have been. They just kind of appeared out of nowhere. It was as if suddenly Sunku opened up a hat and pulled out 2 Chinese girls and was like, these are now Morning Musume members.
Well, and he tossed them in with Aika, who was not very popular. So that probably didn't help them either.
So they had a lot going against them, but despite that, what I really love about Junjun is that she tried so hard. Not to say that Lin Lin didn't, but I don't think Lin Lin had to try as hard because I feel like Lin Lin had an easier time with Japanese. She had that banging voice. She just did her thing, and she didn't really let anybody kind of interfere with that. Junjun was a little more awkward. She wasn't as good with the Japanese. Her voice is nice, but her pitch wasn't great. But she just had this sweetness about her, like a little lamb, a little angel. And what I appreciate about Junjun is that throughout her time in Morning Musume, she had this quirkiness about her, and she was always, the quiet one, but every once in a while she would just say something that was just so funny and so out of left field or so sassy. And it warms my heart. And again, even though her pitch wasn't the best, when she was on, I feel like Junjun was on. And I feel like she really contributed to the group. And even when she wasn't doing so good in the pitch department, Homegirl was trying. And that really speaks volumes for her, and that says a lot that, even when it wasn't going her way, she was still trying, and she was still doing her very best to be as good as she could be. Again, more for just because I adored her as a personality, much like my top 10 in general. That is why Junjun is my number 6.
My number 6 is none other than Abanunu's Abazaba, Abadabadoo, Abba the great beloved, Take a Chance on Me, Dancing Queen, Abe Natsumi. If I had re-ranked her, I probably could have been on the same playing field as Jacob last week when he talked about Abe, but I like Abe better than Jacob does. Abe, like Jacob said last week, was not the greatest singer that ever blessed Morning Musume, but she was definitely the most consistent of all those early girls, especially the first generation. The second generation, I feel like, really blew her out of the water with their vocals. Goto was kind of hit and miss, and the fourth generation it was a slow burn before their voices really developed. And so I feel like Abe was the only actual choice to have for a front girl. As much as I look back and I think, well, I think other girls could have really had that lead spot, Fukuda being one of them, she left so early that I don't think that, it would have really made a difference if she had been the center vocalist, because she was kind of like right up there anyways, but I don't think it would have made that much of a difference. Ida and Yuko and Aya did not really have the vocal props to stand up to some of those songs that Sunku was throwing at them at the time, where their voices were not really developed, they weren't really mature. It's kind of like with Sunku in the current generation, where if he had tried to throw some of the songs that he's writing for them now, back like in 1, 2, 3 days, I don't think that all of them would have been able to handle it, but they've had some time to grow and develop their voices. Much like with early Morning Musume, because Sunku had to kind of help prepare their voices to get to a level that he wanted them to, and I think that's why Love Machine was so successful, because by that point, their voices had matured. Moving back to Abe. Abe was consistent. She always had this really great energy about her, and I think while she was still trying to figure out who she was as an idol, I feel like she was trying really hard, and I feel like she was conveying some kind of sweetness to the camera with her kind of bored face like this while she was trying to emote something. I like her presence just in the music videos. She's an awful actress, but I think in anything that she's ever shown up in, she gives 110%, and it's almost like she overacts on purpose to kind of be funny, because Abe doesn't have too much of a personality, and I think it's that whole like center stage syndrome is what I'm going to call it, that I think Ai-chan had, that I think Riho has, that I think Abe definitely had, where they don't really have to try as hard. Being an idol, usually you are fighting for the center. All the girls that are there are trying to be the front. They want to be the best. They want to be the one that stands out. They want to be the one that's noticed. They want to have the one that has all their merch bought. But if you're already thrown into the center role and you don't have to try for anything, you don't really have to reach out and grab at your audience because you're already in the front of their minds, you don't need to fight as hard to be interesting or charismatic or bubbly or anything that makes a really great idol, because you already are the center. Not to say that Abe had no personality at all, that she was completely boring and she had flat hair. She just didn't have to try, and I think that she kind of set up that precedent for center spotlight syndrome. And I think once she got out of Morning Musume is when her personality really started to kind of blossom, because she wasn't so much like the spectacle center role, and I think kind of it helped to not have such pressure on her to be on all the time. That all being said, I think that because Abe was the most consistent, I really felt like she was a very pretty girl. She had a lot of energy and sweetness to her. I just liked her more than so many of these other girls that I had to put her higher, because she just seemed better than all of them, and she seemed better than Morning Musume.
Hashtag better than you.
Hashtag better than Morning Musume. Abe Natsumi. I think without her, the group wouldn't be where it's at now. So last week we asked you guys who your number 6th ranked Morning Musume member was, and we got from Daughter of White, Ogawa Makoto, and the reasoning was that she had a nice voice, she was always funny and entertaining, and even though she wasn't the prettiest while in the group, she is now, and I agree. I think Godo. I agree, I think...
Blasphemer.
I agree, I think Ogawa is gorgeous, and I think she's always been really pretty in the group. She had kind of like a different prettiness to her. And I think she had a decent enough voice. I think that it just wasn't right for Morning Musume. Shinku needed to change up his style a little bit when writing music for her, which he never did. So let us know who your number 5th ranked Morning Musume member is in the comments below, and we will talk about our number 5th next week. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.